Welcome to today's Success Life Radio. My name is Eric Reed, and I'm your host and a coach and a writer and a speaker and a dad and a lover of pets. I don't know. You figure it out. But I am here today to talk to you about this idea of courage. And maybe courage is a little overrated. So I want you to take a moment and settle in. Get out your pens, your papers, your notebooks, your things that you use to keep track of ideas so that when you have time to go back and reflect on them and build them into your personal and professional development, you have a resource. So start building it, and I'll be right back.
You are listening to the Success Life Live with Eric G. Reed. Living your life of success is possible, and this is where you will get a deep dive into the mindset, habits, and routines that will let you build your life of success, starting now.
Thank you so much for joining me today. So this idea of courage, and whether it's overrated, and this may sound a bit like a rant, but it really came up as a result of a conversation I was having with a friend the other day, and we were talking about courage and how did she get her business started, and it was such a monumental commitment to her business and to her idea and to her vision. I said, where did you get the courage? Like, how did you have the courage to do that? And she looked at me and sort of shook her head and said, I didn't have time for courage. I had to. And I could have let that just pass, but I really paused on it for a minute and thought, I didn't have time for courage. I had to. Or in other words, courage wasn't an option because I had made a commitment and necessity was the motivator. So often as a coach, I'll hear somebody say, well, I would never have the courage to do what you do, or I'd never have the courage to do that, or I'd never have the courage to say that, or to think that, or become that. And I thought, interesting. And then I've seen people develop niches around coaching where they're the confidence coach or the courage coach or, bring out your inner lion coach kind of thing. And it was all focused around courage, courage, courage. Now, understand, I get fear, I get doubt, I get insecurity. Man, I wrote the book on it. You have no idea what it's like to grow up and be the only boy in a house of 4 sisters, and one of us is an academic overachiever, and one is like a 4-letter sports person throughout high school. Like my younger sister would not even have to try out for the team. The coaches in this large high school would come looking for her because she was so naturally talented. My older sister, I would show up in class and they'd be like, oh, it's going to be such a pleasure to have you in class. Your older sister was almost like the assistant professor here in the class. She provided so much to the other students. And there I sat in the middle. Yeah, that was a moment of flashback. Thinking, man, have I got stories for you about my insecurity, my self-doubt, my fears. I remember as a kid, I would sit at the dining room table and we would practice spelling words. And after about 5 minutes, my family would just give up and look at me thinking, there is no hope for this boy. He can't do which is which and there, and there. He's never going to make it out of the 3rd grade. And as a matter of fact, I didn't make it out of kindergarten the first time through. So I understand fear and doubt and insecurities. It has chased me my whole life. But what I've recently discovered, when I look back, the times that I was able to create the biggest change in my life, the time that I was able to move forward and get what I wanted and live the life of my dreams, wasn't because I found courage, but because I leaned into the commitment or the necessity to make the commitment to do something. It wasn't because I had somehow reached a level 9.732 on my courage scale that I took action. No, it was often because it became so necessary on some level for me to take action that if I didn't, the consequences would have been too great. Courage never moved me forward. Necessity and commitment always moved me forward. So I want to ask you sort of to rethink this idea about courage. The cowardly lion type of thing from The Wizard of Oz, courage. Did he find courage or did he take actions that showed a person willing to commit to his friends and his travel mates. Your courage might be, your lack of courage or your focus on courage, I guess I could say, might be what's stopping you from your success. Somehow you've planted in your mind that you don't have enough courage, which I'm curious, when is enough, or what is enough, or what does enough look like, would be the coaching questions I'd ask you. But you've decided that you don't have the courage to change your relationships, to change your finances, to change your body image and the way you walk and move and breathe into this earth. You don't have the courage to change your jobs or create a new job or to confront a boss or take on a new position or strike out on a dream. You've somehow convinced yourself that as soon as you get enough courage to change, you will. What if I told you? What if I just told you you have the courage? You have all the courage you need. It's completely full. I checked your courage tank. You're at a level 10 courage on a level 10 scale. Go do it. What would be the new excuse? Yeah. Often with my coaching clients, what I'll say is, what is the next best action we could take? Whether we had the courage or not, let's just set it aside. And I'll even give you permission not to have to take the action immediately. But let's talk about what the next action could be. Okay. And what would happen if we committed to that action? What would change? What would the possible positive outcome be and the negative outcome be? Oh, okay. So how necessary is it that you begin to make this change? For instance, I don't have the courage to go to the gym in front of one of those fitness classes in my, Jane Fonda workout gear, so to speak. I just couldn't do that. I mean, you don't understand. I've always been heavy and people have always talked about my weight and they've always made fun of my weight. And I just, I just don't have the courage to do that. I don't want to do it. Please don't make me do it. I just don't have the courage. What if I told you if you don't go, you won't be here to see your kids graduate from school or your grandchildren or walk your daughter down the aisle? How could I raise the necessity for it to happen in your life to a point that courage wasn't an option? It had to happen. It was necessary for it to change. See, you don't need courage. You need to focus on the necessity. What if you said, I couldn't teach that class, launch that class, go online, change my business, grow my business, ask people for sales, whatever it is as it relates to changing your business, to grow your business, to create more wealth. I just don't have the courage. You don't understand. I've never been good at that. Last time I asked somebody, they said no, and I thought I was going to die. What if I told you if you don't do it and the recession comes and your debt goes up and your income goes down, that you and your family could face homelessness? And if not homelessness, at least a tightening of the quality of life that you want to provide for your spouse and your kids and those that depend on you? That if you don't take action to grow your business, to take control of your finances, you are harming not only yourself, but your children and the generations after that. Now, is it about courage or necessity? You're starting to understand? I think sometimes we use this word courage or need of courage or want of courage as a way of protecting ourselves from taking action, because what we fear is we might fail. Well, you know what? By not taking action, you're already failing. So toss that excuse out the window. Make a commitment, take an action, write it down, say this is a necessity in my life that I get this under control. Whether it's in my finances or in my faith or in my fitness or in my business, whether it's in my intimate relationships, whether it's in how I serve my community or serve myself or grow personally and professionally, it is a necessity that I make a change in the status quo or I will be dead. I will die. I will fail. I will fall. I will no longer be. Create necessity where you've been asking about courage. Because I'll tell you, if the house is on fire and my kid is in the middle of it, I'm not going to be looking for courage. I'm going to be looking for a way in because it's necessary that I save my child. It's not a courageous act. It was a necessity for my well-being and my role as a father and the love that I have for my kid. So let's just agree, maybe for the next week, 2 weeks, whatever, to suspend this idea that I need more courage and instead say I need more commitment to the necessity of change. All right? I know it sounds a bit like a rant. Sometimes I feel that as a coach, and I look at my fellow coaches and influencers and things like that, that they give us permission to sort of stay in this bubble of thoughts and feelings and softness, happy unicorns and candy cotton clouds and all of that. In order to create the life of success that you desire, not the place of success, but a life of success, sometimes we got to get out of our head and get into action. We got to transform the way we believe about things, change our mindset, and move. Success is about bringing those three things into alignment: our mindset, our belief, and our actions and habits, to create the change that we want to create, to develop the life that we want to develop so that we can live our journey of success. And so sometimes I'll call it out. Sometimes I'll sit down and go, okay, enough about this courage. Let's talk about commitment. Let's talk about necessity. If you don't change, this is the road ahead. There's an interesting thought in coaching and sphere and psychology and whatever. More people are motivated by the stick than the carrot, but yet everybody sells us the carrot. And when we fail to achieve whatever it is we bought into, we blame the carrot. Well, the truth is we weren't motivated to move. We were okay where we were before. And so the thought of a new something was kind of attractive, but it wasn't necessary. Sometimes you can count on me as your coach and your friend to pull out the stick and remind you that some things in our life require us to make a commitment to change and get to it. And often in the coaching that I do, we will set accountability as one of the priorities in the process of creating the life that my clients want to create. We will set up a success board where we write down the things that we're doing and track our commitment to them and our progress. And it's so funny because often I'll hear them say, well, I'm really committed. Now look at the coaching Trello, the coaching success board. And I'll say, really? Because looking at the notes, you committed to doing this, this, and this on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And I don't see where you did it, but yet you're saying you're committed and you don't understand why you haven't created the change. Your behaviors aren't matching up with what you believe, so let's get back online. So a little insight to how coaching works at Success Life Coaching. If it's something you're interested in, just email me directly at eric@ericgreed.com. A little bit of us coaching happens each and every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern on Success Life, on my Facebook page, Eric G. Reed, and then weekly in the newsletter at Success Life Weekly. So you can always subscribe to that at ericgreed.com/subscribe, and you'll be in the newsletter. But until then, you can always come back here to Success Life Radio and get another sort of mindset reset going. All right? On a personal note, I want to ask you to take a moment and like, share, add a comment, invite people to be a part of it. In part because when you're surrounded with other people that are listening to what you're listening to, that are sharing the experiences that you're sharing, whether it's through a podcast or a book you're reading or a mastermind group, you begin to develop a community of like-minded people. And in doing so, you create your own support network to continue to grow. Also, it helps me know that I'm doing something that adds value to you and your life. And, I got to say, it feels good when I see somebody subscribe, like, share, tweet, comment on whatever I'm doing. It sort of says, you know what? What you do matters. Continue to do it. It's necessary. All right? So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking your time to join me for today's Success Life Radio. My name is Eric Reed. I'm your friend and your coach, and I hope you'll join us again next week. Until then, go out, live your life with success. You are worthy of it. You are so worthy of it. Never doubt that. Success is yours. And you are worthy of it, my friend. Bye-bye.
Success Life with Eric G. Reed. Learn to live your life with success.